Hey, and welcome to Geometry Review for Unit 8. We have an exam coming up on Monday, and this is Mixed Master Math, M cubed, otherwise known as Rob the Mover, your teacher, Mr. Martin. And we are going to go through some questions for Unit 8. And I am going to start by going down to, let's go down to number 9. See if we can do number 9 and 10 in a video. Okay. Hopefully over the weekend you've been making up some note cards, looking over notes, review, doing some extra problems. Again, the idea here is if you're having trouble on a specific problem, go back and find problems like that we have done on the notes and in homework, because a lot of times you can just practice those problems and you've forgotten the answers. You can go through, cover up the answers with another piece of paper, see if you can work out the solution. So as you're going through here, if things are coming up pretty easily for you, maybe you don't need to go over those type of problems very much. The review is an idea of where you stand in preparation. So if you're flying through this and some problems are easier than others, okay, maybe you don't need to worry about those type of problems. But if there's ones that get you stuck and you have to think a little bit, you might want to go back and review those topics. Okay, that's what I would do if I were a student in your shoes. So looking at number 9 here, and it's very good to identify what you're dealing with here. We've got AB and AC are tangents. So this is two tangents from an outside point, okay? And we know some things about the angle formed by those two tangents, which is angle A, okay? And we actually want to find angle A. Now remember, there's a shortcut that angle A and this inner arc, the angle made by two tangents and the inner arc are supplementary. So if you've forgotten that, that was one of those extra credit things I had in one of the videos that I made. But if you've forgotten that, you can always use the formula that the measure of angle A is half the measure of the outer arc minus the inner arc. So the outer arc that I put in blue there, now they said its major arc BC is 220, so that's the major arc, the bigger one, minus the other one. Now the other one is the minor arc BC, so that's going to be 360 minus 220, which is 140. Okay, so the measure of angle A is 1/2 of that difference, which is 80, so it is 40. Okay, now you could have, right, noticed that this angle, this arc 220, the major arc, adds up to 360 with the minor arc BC. So you could have easily have done this same math over here to find this is 140, and then angle A is supplementary. So the other way to do it would be say measure of angle A plus 140 equals 180. So easily the measure of angle A is 40. Okay. Okay. Number 10, this question comes up a lot, and I think one of the keys of this problem that I've emphasized in class is draw a radius in, right? Because this right here is perpendicular. So we have a line through the center of the circle perpendicular to a chord. And when that happens, we know that it bisects the chord. So those two segments are congruent. Since we're given the whole chord is 8, then that means each little piece is 4. Now, at this point, a lot of you get stuck because you're not really using the other piece of information that the radius is 5. A lot of you are like, okay, so OC is 5, right? 5 centimeters. But how is that helping me solve the problem? Because now I need this little piece in here, right? Or I need this little piece up here, okay? And then I can subtract from 5. Well, the key to this problem is drawing a smart radius, okay? Some of you have smartphones. We're going to draw a smart radius, okay? A smart radius drawn in this kind of problem will give us a right triangle. So let me trace that right triangle over here. We've got a radius of 5, which is over here, right? We've got this little side is 4, and this is the right triangle. This is our famous 3, 4, 5 right triangle. Okay, so that missing side over there is 3. I didn't really draw that to scale, but you can see it's 3. And we are looking for PC, which is this small highlighted in yellow segment. So PC is 5 minus 3, which is 2. Okay. So this particular type of problem is is done a lot easier if you draw in a smart radius. Okay. Let's go ahead and go down to number 11. I apologize for the fact that our Google Docs doesn't have a nice symbol for the arc, but that should be an arc. Okay. QT, the arc is 5x plus 10. Again, you should hit pause on this video if at any point you are trying this problem and I've given you enough of a hint to start the problem. Okay. Let's do arc RS is 3x plus 14. Again, pause if this is enough information to help you solve the problem. We're given angle P is 40. So this angle in here is 40 degrees. Okay. And we want to somehow find arc RS, okay, which is the 3x plus 14. Well, we need to find x then to find arc RS. So this is a pretty easy equation to set up because it is an angle made by two secants. Okay, the angle made by two secants, or the angle made by two tangents, or the angle made by a tangent and a secant, all follow the same formula that we did up here in the long method, right? Not the shorter method, but it's simply the angle outside of that circle made by two secants is half of the difference of the two arcs, the outer arc and the inner arc. Okay, so you're going to do 5x plus 10 minus. Now be careful here. It's the whole arc 3x plus 14, okay? The reason why I put that in parentheses, and a lot of you missed that right there, right? Is because we got to subtract that whole expression, okay? Guys, make sure when you're multiplying an expression, especially a binomial, this is what we call a binomial because it has two terms, right? There's a plus or minus between those terms. Whenever you have that type of situation, you're multiplying, adding, subtracting, make sure you put in parentheses. Then take a second and look at it and see what that means when you subtract it, okay? So this negative sign is going to be distributed in there. Now, let me go ahead and do that in a line. I got 40 equals 1/2 5x plus 10 minus 3x minus 14, okay? At this point, we can simplify that expression in there. Let's go ahead and get rid of that 1/2, okay, by multiplying by 2 on both sides, okay? A lot of these problems with those halves in the equation are more easily solved if you get rid of the half. So this is 80 on the left, and you get rid of the half here by multiplying by 2. The 2 is gone, the half is gone. Sometimes you guys forget to cancel that out. The whole point in multiplying by the 2 is get rid of the half. Okay, now we're left with what's ever inside there. Let's go ahead and combine that. It's 2x, 5x minus 3x is 2x, and the 10 minus 14 is -4. Okay, we're going to add 4 to both sides and show that, look and make sure that we did that. A lot of you get confused here with your own algebra. I'll see you subtracting 4 on both sides, right? Make sure, take an extra second to see, does that really cancel out? -4 plus 4 gives me 0, right? So you get 2x plus 0 equals 84. The 0 is gone. Divide by 2, x is 42. Okay, take a second, take a deep breath, look back. Does that solve my question? I wasn't asked to find x. I was asked to find arc RS, which was my 3x plus 14. Okay, so 3x plus 14 is going to be 3x plus 14. That's the measure of arc RS. So that's 126 plus 14 is 140. Okay.